In this video, we're talking about layering to perfection. If you're new to my channel, this is a little bit of a different style than my other videos. Typically like to edit pretty heavily and add in effects, all the YouTube things, right? And in this series of 12 videos that I'm making, taking you from beginner to pro, in music production, I'm intentionally stripping things back a little bit, slowing things down so that you can get a really detailed look at my process, both practically and the mentality behind what it takes to go from beginner to pro in this area. And today we're on video, I think video 10, which is pretty crazy. Go back, watch the other 9. These all build on each other. So we started with the foundation and really worked our way up from here. And in this video today, we're talking about how you can layer to perfection to make the most aesthetically pleasing tracks possible. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my process specifically on how I layer. There's so many different ways to go about this and so many different ways that you're going to be able to apply the methods that I'm going to show you in this video. So I encourage you to stick around to the end. Let's get back to the studio. We'll get into it. What's up, guys? Back in the studio talking about layering. Let's jump into it. So we've got 3 different points, tips and tricks for layering on here, and these are things to just start out with. So the ideal spot in this video, I'm assuming you're someone who enjoyed dragging samples, maybe programming a beat to that, but you're just getting into making melodies for yourself, maybe even recording some audio for yourself, and you're wondering, how do I layer things together? What's okay, what's not okay? You want some framework for getting into this yourself. I'm going to give you my approach to this, and you can take and leave whatever you want, because in music, as you probably know, there's no right or wrong rules necessarily, but I find that having guidelines for myself that I've come back to time and time again that have always helped me get creative breakthrough. It's helped me a bunch. Hopefully it can help you as well. So point number 1, good things come in 3. There's pretty much infinite tracks that you can make in any DAW, and that can be overwhelming sometimes. It can be like, how many instruments are layered together? How many parts do I put together? For this first example that I have right here, we have 3 guitars all stacked and layered together. It sounds really pretty. Here's what they sound like. As you can hear, it's just 3 parts. They're all playing really similar things together. And that's another thing that I would suggest as you're getting started with the layering, figuring out what notes sound good together, how to make melodies that work together. I would keep really simple parts and similar, if not the same, instrument as well. That brings us right into our next point. You've got kind of 2 different dimensions of sound if we're thinking about it. You've got your frequency spectrum, which is your bass, mids, and treble. And then you also have your sonic spectrum, like what your 2 ears are picking up, left, right, and then the center, which is really just your left and right balanced. And so right here, these guitars, as you can see, they're not panned at all, but the way that they sit in with each other in the mix and don't get in the way of each other is they're stacked on top of different frequencies. And I'm not talking about adding in an EQ or mixing plugins. There's no mixing happening, no effects on any of these. I simply played a low part on the bottom of the guitar, then a part in the middle of the guitar, and then one final part on the top of the guitar. You can hear what I mean right here. We have a low part. These are just our chords that are open. Then we have a mid-range part. As you can hear, it kind of picks up where the lower guitar left off and is filling out a space that's just slightly above, so it's just stacked right above that lower guitar, but following the same pattern. And then we have a high guitar part, which once again picks up where the mid-range guitar left off and is filling in similar space to the other 2 guitars. So all together, even if you did end up using different sounds, you just want to be mindful of, is this fitting in the bass? Is this fitting in the mid-range? Is this fitting in the the treble is this higher up, because your brain can only handle so many melodies at once. You just want to be mindful of what kind of space your melodies are taking up as you are creating them and layering it together. This takes us into the next part of layering. In this example, I just sang into this microphone. Pretty simple melody, and my voice honestly can only cover so many frequencies. I only have a certain range to it. It's pretty limited. And so what am I going to do to layer with my own voice? Another way that you can achieve a wide effect is to balance the left, the right, and the center tones all together. So together, this is what the melody sounds like. So as you can hear, because we doubled the vocals and recorded a take for the left, the right, and for the center, it gives this illusion to your mind of a very wide vocal choir sound effect that you don't really hear in real life, because there'd never be a scenario where I'm singing and you're left, right, and right in front of your face. So it's kind of a cool sound, especially if you're just jumping into singing or some kind of vocal performance. It takes all the pressure off of you to have one perfect take. Instead, you can have multiple different options that are taking up your stereo image and sounding wider and more full, just as a result of some simple panning. So altogether, with all three of these techniques, we have a really wide sound. And finally, this last point, it's much more conceptual. I don't exactly have an example for it, but is your sound the right color? Because most people, when they're listening to a track or song, they're not focused on, oh, the hi-hat's doing this, the drums are doing this, the bass is doing this. That's just you and me, just the producers. Most people are listening to the track as a whole. They're picking up vibes and different things that they like and saying, I identify with this, or I don't identify with this. And so as music producers and people making music for other people to enjoy, this point is really getting at, don't get lost in the weeds. Focus on the color that you're trying to create while you're layering. Because even for experienced music producers, we might be able to hear these are guitars, these are vocals, these are drums, but it can be hard to pick out, oh, was there layers used for the vocals? What layers were used for the guitars and drums? All that we hear is pieces of the final product. So the ultimate goal of all this is to finding the right color for your sound. So as you're going into layering, don't focus on every single individual part. Make sure that you're focused on the track as a whole. I'm going to play this little jam that I made using this sample as an outro just because I think it's cool. If you found this useful, please press YouTube buttons. Helps me out a bunch. Really appreciate it. Have a great one. Peace.